Level 1. The eyes. The gold coin hits the concrete 3 inches from your hand. You don't flinch. You don't look up. You close your fingers around it and slide it into the fold of your sleeve before anyone on the sidewalk notices. That's your first day. You sleep under the Bowery. You eat what the shelters give you. To every person walking past, you're invisible. Another body curled against a wall. Another face they train themselves not to see. But you're not invisible. You're infrastructure. You watch. That's it. You watch the street corners. You watch who enters the hotel on the next block. You watch which cars idle too long. You watch which faces show up twice in 1 week. And when a man in a press coat approaches you and asks what you saw at 2 a.m. on Tuesday, you tell him, or you don't, depending on who gave you the coin. There are 40 of you within 6 blocks. You don't know all their names. You know their positions. You know the signals. A newspaper folded a certain way. A hat turned backward. A cough repeated 3 times. The language is physical, and you learn it fast or you get replaced. You are the lowest rung, expendable. If someone decides to sanitize a district, you're the first name that doesn't get remembered. But you hear things. You see the machinery turning, and some part of you, the part that's still hungry, wants to climb inside it. Level 2. The staff. You iron your shirt at 4:30 a.m. You polish the counter until you can see your own reflection. By the time the first guest walks through the lobby of the Continental, every surface gleams, and every weapon behind the desk is loaded and cataloged. You are a concierge, or a sommelier, or a tailor who measures inseams and stitches Kevlar linings into Italian wool. Your title doesn't matter. What matters is that you serve the ecosystem without becoming part of the violence. Neutrality is your religion. The Continental is consecrated ground, and you are its clergy. A man walks in with blood drying on his cuffs, and you offer him a drink. You don't ask whose blood. You process his room. You hand him fresh linens, a new suit, a phone with 1 number programmed into it. You smile. You earn well. 6 figures, plus protections most governments can't offer. But the contract is total. 1 breach of protocol, 1 moment where your personal feelings enter the transaction, and your retirement comes without a pension. It comes with a hole in the back of your skull in a hallway no camera covers. You start to understand something. The rules aren't restrictions. They're the only thing keeping everyone alive. Level 3. The contractor. Your first kill takes 11 seconds longer than it should. You replay it for weeks. The angle of entry, the half-second hesitation, the sound the body made against the tile floor. You tell yourself it gets easier. It does. You're a contract assassin now. You take jobs posted to the exchange. A name, a photo, a price in gold coins. You own 2 suits, 4 handguns, a passport with a name that isn't yours, and a post office box where markers arrive like bills. You clear 12 coins on a good week. $40,000, roughly. And none of it touches a bank. You're competent, fast, disciplined. But you are a commodity. There are hundreds like you, and the system doesn't mourn commodities. You've seen what happens when a target turns out to be connected. You've seen contractors disappear mid-job. Not killed by the target, but recalled. Erased from the board like a piece that moved out of turn. You stop using your real name, not because anyone told you to, because it doesn't feel like yours anymore. Level 4. The enforcer. The adjudicator doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't need to. She tells you which Continental has fallen out of compliance, and you go. You bring 3 others. You wear armor that stops rifle rounds and carry weapons that don't exist on any civilian market. You are the fist of the high table. You don't negotiate. Negotiation implies 2 parties with leverage. You are not a party. You are a consequence. When a manager breaks protocol, you arrive. When a contractor goes rogue, you arrive. When someone believes they are above the rules, you are the reminder that no one is. You've killed contractors who were better fighters than you. Skill doesn't matter when you have authorization. Superior firepower and the weight of the entire system behind your trigger finger. Common assassins cross the street when they see your convoy, but you answer to someone. You always answer to someone. And you've started to notice that the orders don't always make sense. They make power. Level 5, the manager. You run the Continental, your city, your kingdom of marble floors and silenced conversations. Every assassin who checks in operates under your authority. Every coin exchanged in your territory passes through infrastructure you maintain. You set the tone. You enforce the sacred rules. No business on continental grounds. You are judge, warden, and host. You play chess with the high table. Not openly, never openly. You delay, you interpret rules loosely. You grant favors that create debts, and debts are the only currency that outlasts gold. You've kept your seat for 14 years by understanding one principle. Power isn't held. It's balanced. But the balance has a cost. When one of your guests breaks the rules, the table doesn't punish them first. It punishes you. Your name is on every violation. Your blood is the collateral. You haven't left the building in 3 months. You tell yourself it's by choice. Level 6, the seat. You sit at the high table, 1 of 12. Your family, or your organization, has held this seat for generations. Wars have been fought over it. Blood has been poured into its foundation like concrete. You dictate the laws of the Underworld. You authorize sanctions. You issue markers that bind men to promises worse than death. From your position, the assassins below look like arithmetic. Numbers to be deployed, subtracted, reassigned. You own legitimate businesses on 4 continents. Governments attend your dinners. But here, in this room with 11 others, you are not a king. You are a trustee. The system owns the seat. You just occupy it. And every tradition you enforce, every rule, every ritual, every blood oath, is a chain you wear as tightly as anyone beneath you. You haven't trusted another human being in 9 years. You've forgotten what trust feels like. You remember what it costs. Level 7, the Elder. You live above the table. Literally, a compound in the desert. No address, no digital footprint. Couriers reach you on horseback. You are the one who grants clemency, the one who can erase a marker, the one whose ring carries more authority than any army. When the 12 seats cannot resolve a matter, they send an emissary to you. You listen. You decide. Your word becomes law, carved into the system like scripture. You chose this isolation, or you tell yourself you did. The truth is, the position chose you, and the position requires absolute removal from the world it governs. You haven't walked a city street in 6 years. You eat alone. You speak to perhaps 3 people a day, and each conversation is a transaction. Power, at this altitude, is silence. It is stillness. It is watching the machinery grind from so far above that the screams sound like wind. You realize, with a clarity that arrives too late, that you are the most imprisoned person in the entire system. Level 8, the Ghost. There is no title here, no seat, no ring, no compound. You are the one who walked away, or tried to. You completed an impossible task. You burned every favor you had. You bled out on 3 separate continents and survived each time through violence so extreme it became myth. They call you a name that isn't yours. A legend built from body counts and whispered stories in continental lobbies. You wanted out. You wanted a house, a dog, a life measured in something other than gold coins and blood debts. You got it. Once, for a few years. But the system doesn't release. It reclaims. And now you sit in a room you didn't choose, stitching wounds you've lost count of, and the only thing you feel is the absence of feeling. The grief is gone. The rage is structural now. built into your skeleton like rebar. You are free of nothing. You are feared by everyone. And the distance between those two facts is where your entire life disappeared. You don't sleep. You wait.